So this brings us to the fourth element that we have covered so far, which is space. This is probably the most philosophical of all the elements. And we are doing the evening this time rather than the morning because there is a special puja which is conducted only in the evenings every day at 7 p.m. And that's called the Chidambara Rahasya Puja, in which at certain point in the puja, the priest opens the curtain to show you the secret, and in a few seconds he closes it again. And what you exactly see during those few seconds happens to be the secret. Shiva is seen here in an iconic form, which means as an image, as against the aniconic forms that we've been seeing in the earlier three temples. By which I mean that you've been seeing Shiva basically as a lingam. It was the Vayu lingam at Kalahasti, Prithvi lingam at Kanchipuram, it was the Agni lingam at Tiruvannamalai, and now it is going to be the Akasha linga at Chidambaram. So there is a second Shiva in this temple which is far more important, and that is the Nataraja, the iconic form, cosmic dancer performing a cosmic dance, an ecstatic dance, the Ananda Tandava. As soon as you get to the entrance and look up, there is a garden and the high wall of the temple. This is the North Tower Gate. Entrance gates have the various Bharatanatyam poses. They are beautifully carved in granite on either side of the temple towers. All the 108 poses are here on the sides of the temple tower walls. These carvings are 1,000 years old. In a Shivan temple, Parvati always has a place. And here it is known as the Sri Sivaganga Amman temple. Of course, like Shiva, Parvati takes on different names in different Shiv temples. That is the eastern Gopuram or the Rajagopuram, the main entrance, which is just opposite the western one over here. And then we have the central wall of the inner precinct. We are still on the outer prakara. It is quite a massive temple, while Kanchipuram and Tiruvannamalai have an area of about 25 acres. This one has 40 acres. This is very big. And there is a temple tank with two higher walls you can't see from here. Or maybe we can see it from the corner. Oh yes, there it is. You can take a peek. And to the right, there is the 1,000-pillared hall. And there are shrines everywhere for lesser deities. This temple, like many of our ancient temples, was built somewhere around the 6th or 7th centuries. It was developed with further constructions by the Chola kings between the 9th and 12th centuries. And later on, there were additions by the Pandya kings who replaced the Cholas. And a few centuries after that, in the 16th century, there were final and further changes by the Vijayanagara kings. This temple too has a very interesting and dramatic legend to it. Shiva and Parvati, in the form of Kali, they had a dance competition. They asked Vishnu to be the arbiter. As the dance was going on, it is said that an earring from one of Shiva's ears fell down to the ground. Without missing a step, Shiva reached for the earring with his legs and lifted his leg high enough to fit the earring back in his ear. Now at that point, Kali refused to do that movement because she believed it was unbecoming and immodest a pose for a woman to raise her leg like that and that to win in front of somebody else. Vishnu was left with no choice but to declare Shiva the winner. Kali Mata walked off in a huff. She was mad. Which is why, although there is a shrine for her, she is not with Shiva in this temple, as we saw in the earlier temple. There is a Kali Amman temple not too far from here, but outside of the premises. It's a separate temple on its own, where if you go, I don't know if you'll have the time for it because after it's over, it'll be pretty dark today. But there is this Kali Amman temple where it is said that you and me going there like, devotees or normal people are supposed to take a lot of kumkum that is available at the exit and pacify her by putting that kumkum on her forehead or wherever to say, calm down, chill, it's all fine, don't be angry anymore. Very unusual kind of praying that there can be, where the devotee goes to comfort the god or goddess. What happens to Vishnu then? Because Vishnu enjoyed the dance performance so much that he was actually a one-man audience enjoying the blissful cosmic dance of both these people, and later on Shiva. He too is given a permanent shrine inside a Shiva temple. Now that happened in Kanchipuram, as we saw in the other visit that we had. A Vaishnavite shrine is placed inside a Shaivite temple. Not just placed, it is also considered as one of the most important 108 Divya Desams of the Vaishnavite sect. So we'll now proceed to the eastern tower, which is actually the Rajagopuram or the entrance tower, and then go around to the southern tower, which has an interesting story to it. There are big courtyards and big halls all around the temple. We are just on the outer precinct. That is the eastern Gopuram, the Rajagopuram, the main entranceway. We are approaching the southern Gopuram. The southern Gopuram is special in a way because the other three major Gopurams were built by the Cholas. This Gopuram was built or possibly rebuilt by the Pandyas. How do we know that? There are two fish symbols was the signature of the Pandya. When Pandyas constructed anything, including a temple, they always put their mark of two fish next to each other. When the construction was incomplete, then the Pandyas left behind one fish. The walls are again full of poses, dance poses, all the way to the top. On both sides of the entrance. There are a few more halls where even performances, dance recitals are conducted. It must be quite an inspiring thing for young dancers to make their maiden performance in a place where Lord Shiva himself is supposed to perform this cosmic dance. 7:45 in the evening, in the outer prakaram, we attended the puja of the Chidambara Rahasya. It was crowded, it was awesome, lot of aradhanas, quite a sight actually. And now we are just outside. Sadly, no camera work, anything is permitted inside at all. In fact, there are notices everywhere inside saying that mobile phones and cameras will be seized. So we are back outside. It's all dark. The outer enclosure has been lit. Chidambara Rahasya Puja was something that we attended. It was very crowded. Although the temple overall was not that crowded, it was quite interesting that there was a lot of high volume intensity. It was quite a sight to see and quite an experience to be part of. That Chidambara Rahasyam bit, we were not very sure if we had seen that or not. We were supposed to see golden bilva leaves, symbolic of Lord Shiva. But otherwise, you're not supposed to see anything much out there. But with all the various sounds and sights and fires and the crowds, we didn't know if that thing had happened. It was yet to happen. We left because the crowd was thinning and we assumed that that part was over. So all we can say is we attended that ceremony, but not sure if we saw what it is that we were supposed to see. There are 5 halls. The one outermost is, of course, the 1,000-pillared hall, which is also known as the Raja Sabha. There is also a more famous Kanaka Sabha, which is also known as the Ponnambalam. Pon is Tamil for gold, and this is a gold tile roofed Sabha or a hall. It has 21,600 of those gold tiles on the roof. That number specifies the number of breaths that we take in a day. The central sanctum of the temple came about from an area was supposed to have been a swamp. Thillai Nataraja is the name of Shiva here, and Thillai means a mangrove. In the nearby village of Pichavaram, There is a mangrove forest. We did take a boat trip on the Pichavaram lake to look at the mangroves. It is supposed to be the second largest mangrove in the world. If you're not clear what a mangrove is, you probably should know that it's got nothing to do with mangoes. If you happen to be in the months of, say, between November and February, roughly, in this part of the world, then a visit to the mangrove might reward you with some nice bird sightings, because a lot of migratory birds like storks, pelicans, so on, do come from the northern climes for the winter and come to these mangroves here. So this is the next morning, and I'm on my way to Trichy from Pondicherry, a distance of 200 kilometers more or less. It takes about 3.5 hours.